Good morning, everyone. I don't suppose the date on this is really relevant. I might pause a couple of times here to gather my thoughts. You guys like Dennis Prager, uh, Jordan Peterson, and many others, really. They like to put things in nice, neat little boxes. They like to um, they like to judge others based on their life choices, based on their status in the hierarchy of our civilization. Um, but here's the thing. People can only make the choices that they're given. And a lot of the times, people are handed a whole bunch of bad choices from the start. Now, some people have loving families, caring parents, parents that sacrifice for them. And I don't mean sacrifice work time, I mean sacrifice one-on-one time with the children. That's the real sacrifice. It's easy to go to work and lose yourself in your job. I have to admit, I've been doing it myself lately. I've been working a lot, and my children have been suffering as a result of this. And I finally had to tell my best friend is the foreman of this place. I finally had to tell him, look, I can't work Friday, Saturday, and Sunday anymore. My kids need me. And that was cool. But I've been making a sacrifice, a financial one, for my daughter, so that she doesn't grow up thinking that it's normal to be pawned off onto strangers. She's been homeschooled. She went 1 year at public school, but she's been homeschooled the rest of the time. My son, we spend other types of time together, but the point I'm making here is your choices are formed from the time you are born for you, by your parents, by the government, by your school, by everybody but you. What laws you're going to follow, what morality is. All these choices have been formed for you. They're predetermined. And I find it ridiculous to judge others based on those choices that they were given. They were given these choices. And yes, there's always exceptions to the rule, right? Some people do claw their way out of the shit they've been given. And kudos to them. But not everyone can do that. That's not realistic. Judgmental people think they know what's right and what's wrong for others. What's right or wrong for you may not be right or wrong for me. The way you learn may not be the way I learn. And I've run into these people all over the place. All over. And most of the time, these judgmental people are the dumbest people out there. Anyway, you shouldn't judge people based on the choices they're given. Maybe if you're in a position, maybe you can offer these people a different choice and see what happens. Maybe that's what they need. as someone to offer another choice. I mean, you got people out there who, like myself, my mom was very, very abusive. She was an alcoholic. She, she was just an all-around nasty person. My dad, he was, well, he was vacant. He was there but not there. He was always at work, always out partying, always doing something else other than raising his children. And he still does it. I mean, he started a whole new family, and he's still an asshole to those kids. I feel so bad for them. And he's still very temperamental. And don't get me wrong, I have my moments where I get mad, but that's his norm. That's how he is. He explodes very, very easily. So he too was abusive on some level. And you know, I made the decision when I had my son that I wasn't going to be that way. That I would be there for him to the extent I could be, and I have been. And I really, really hope that that provides them more choices than the shit I was handed. This week I'm going to take my son to work with me so he can see, you know, what moms and dads are talking about when they say their fucking body is hurting from work. You know, it's not like we want to be there, or we're forced to be there, and in that way we are slaves. We are the only species on this planet that has to pay to live on it. And we're supposedly the most intelligent. I don't see it that way because, you know, we as a society have limited our choices one generation after another. The pollution, you know, we don't have a choice but to live with that now. We don't have a choice but to live with all the leaking radioactive power plants, the nuclear reactors. We have to live with these things now. These choices were made for us. A lot of choices are made for you. And, you know, that Metallica song, Shortest Straw, has been pulled for you, is fucking straight up truth. Straight up. It has been pulled for you, and continues to be pulled for you. And until people of this world stand up, it will always be that way. It's been that way from antiquity. So, anyway, I thought I'd share these thoughts with you about choices and people like Dennis Prager and Jordan Peterson and the like. They like to make things really black and white, and it's all but that. People who have been seriously traumatized and abused as kids are far, far more likely to become drug addicts. It's just like the physical pain one feels. Your brain, your body processes it exactly the same. So it makes sense that people have been like, I don't know, a woman that's been raped by her stepdad or whatever, brother, cousin, grandpa, so on and so forth, would want to use painkillers to block that pain out. Doesn't that make sense? So I've went to great lengths to not create trauma in my kids, and they've had a little bit, but we all need a little bit of trauma. No trauma is almost as bad as you know, excessive trauma, and excessive trauma throughout your life is going to make you, or it's going to, let me put this into proper context. It's going to put you in a position, physically, maybe, or mentally, or to want to escape from your reality. I don't recommend doing that very much, okay? Don't use alcohol. That's the worst thing to use to escape reality. It's just not worth it in the long run. If you take painkillers, for example, you might start off with a 5 milligram painkiller, but short period of time later, short being 30 days or less, it's going to require 7 milligrams, and then it's going to require 10, and then before you know it, you're spending about $25 a day in just painkillers. It's not worth it in the long run. I understand, though, I do, because I've been there. I've lived a fairly wealthy person's life, and I've lived the poor man's life. And let me tell you, both lives are difficult. They are. Either way you go, you still have the same problems. Although you can throw your money at them, that doesn't always work, especially if you're not a member of the ruling class. If you're a member of the ruling class, well, it's rule of thumb, it will work. But if you're just an average guy with some money, well, it doesn't always work. You still end up with felony convictions, even though you've paid a shit ton of money, right? Stuff like that. You're just treated way differently, no matter how much money you throw at it. Anyway, just a random video here. Maybe you get to know me a little bit better this way. I don't know. Maybe. But until next time, kill the state, live free.